It took me 16 years to write this speech, but once I started, it took me 16 minutes. I dare to ask you, have you ever noticed a glass child in your life? Not just seen them, but really noticed them? Now, I know what most of you might be thinking. What even is a glass child? And I understand, because I didn't know either until I realized I was one. A glass child is someone who grows up with a sibling who has a disability, chronic illness, or special needs. We are called glass children because people often see right through us as though we are made of glass. Our needs tend to be invisible because our siblings have more intense needs than we do, and sometimes we feel so unseen that we could probably stand next to a window and win a game of hide and seek. I have an older sister who has special needs, so I understand what it feels like to live as a glass child, but I find it difficult to describe my experience to other people. But I'm sure most of you have watched SpongeBob at some point, right? So out of SpongeBob and Squidward, which character is more well-liked? Let's be honest, we all love SpongeBob. Unfortunately, us glass children always play the role of Squidward, the side character. If we attempted to prioritize ourselves over our siblings, we would immediately become a bad sister or a bad brother. To help you understand the term glass child a little bit better, I would like to share an experience that was extremely traumatic for me. It was December 17th of 2021, and we had a Christmas party after school. The party ended at around 6, and my sister and I were supposed to go back home together. So after the party, I go to the gym. She's not there. I go to the lobby, not there. And finally, the school gate, still not there. So I called her immediately, asking her to send me a photo of where she was, and she did. This is the actual photo that she sent me. But can you notice something weird about this photo? The photo has a clear blue sky, but it was completely dark outside. I mean, I don't know much about Shanghai, but in Qingdao, 6 p.m. in the middle of December does not look like this. Thankfully, WeChat has this location tracking feature that works as long as the other person doesn't quit the app. So I used it and started running immediately. She quit WeChat a couple of times, meaning that I was losing track of her location time to time, but I didn't have time to care. I ran for 40 minutes straight. No jacket, but with a heavy backpack on my shoulders, panicking, freezing cold, until I just couldn't take it anymore. So I decided to run back home to grab a jacket so that I could keep searching. But the moment I step inside, I see her casually at the table, eating crispy fried chicken. I was mad, not because I had to run, not because she disappeared, but half the chicken was already gone by the time I got home. Okay, no one's laughing, so I guess that was a bad joke. Moving on. So later, this story started spreading around, and people started asking if my sister was okay, but not if I was, which didn't really make sense to me because I was the one who ran around like a chicken while she was eating a chicken. And I remember this one adult asking why I didn't keep an eye on her and why I was being such a bad sister. I cannot describe how hurt I was at that moment. I spent my whole life trying to prevent things like this from happening, and the one time I failed, it was like all my past efforts didn't matter. But this story is only the tip of an iceberg. While researching on this topic, I found so many posts of glass children sharing stories like mine, some even worse. These glass children all had one thing in common, which was that their efforts were never recognized, but instead criticized. Not for doing nothing, but for not doing enough. Research has shown that there are significantly less support programs for glass children relative to other syndromes. Think about it. People talk about how they suffer from depression or anxiety, but how often do you hear about someone talking about their experience as a glass child? So that's why I decided to take the first step and build a community in which the glass children can interact with each other and gain the emotional support that they have been lacking for years. If you are willing to be a part in supporting the glass children out there, I would like to ask you to scan the code above and fill out a very simple survey. And while you're doing so, I would like to share a few ways in which you can support the glass children in your lives. Number 1, please remember that sometimes we cannot be superheroes. We will always try our best, but sometimes things can happen, and that does not mean that we are trying to get our siblings into trouble. Number 2, please call us by our names, but not someone's brother or someone's sister. We have an identity that is separate from our siblings, and we want to be recognized for who we truly are. Number 3, we love our siblings unconditionally, but we also want to receive unconditional love. We love it when the spotlight is on our siblings, but I dare to ask that our efforts also be seen. We are not made of glass. Just because a kid doesn't have special needs doesn't mean they don't have needs. Thank you.